Welcome viewers, it's another Friday 10 o'clock, and that means more TCRs. So welcome to round number 4 of Tanso Racing Group TCR Championship. My name's Rob Sutherland, I'm joined by Rob Jackson, and we are at the lovely Watkins Glen up in New York State. And we're on the full layout today. That's the bus stop and all that goes after and before it. And we've got 14 cars on track at the moment. And Mr. Jackson, welcome to the booth.
Yep,
how do you think today's going to
go? I think today will definitely be a drafting track. You know, we've both raced here before, and yeah, if you get tucked in behind someone after turn 1, then you get a good run onto them into the bus stop chicane at the end of the long straight.
And that's going to bring some good fun, I think, when we come up to bus stop. Right, so we've got some housekeeping. We're able to see cars today in qualification, which is a bonus to the last race at Stettin, I think. And yes, so we should be able to see cars on track quite soon. Qualification's just about to start. Let's give you a rundown of the format. We've got a 3-lap quali, closed quali, so the cars will go out and do their own quali. So that's 4 laps. We're looking at about probably 8 or so minutes that's going to take, and it's 10 minutes allotted for that. Then we go straight into Heat 1, which is set on your qualification order. It's a 20-minute heat, 14 cars. And then once that's done, everyone has tea and cakes. There's a 5-minute warm-up, and we'll go into a reverse grid. And it's a partial reverse, so the first 12 cars are reversed, so the fastest will go to the 12th position, etc., etc. And that race will have a lot more fun, I should think. That's also a 20-minute race. And then once that's done, we'll all have tea, more cakes, maybe a bit of champagne, and some bragging rights. And that should... And we're 4 rounds in now to the Tanso Racing Group TCR Championship. Give us a good evening's entertainment, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, you're right there. It should do. But I'm not so keen on the old champagne idea. To be fair, it's a bit bubbly for my head, that. But never say no to a good cup of tea. So
no, it's quite late on the Fridays. We're probably going to have a stellar fight and a night in a police van, as is the norm with the touring cars. So we're in qualification now. Guys are going out on their outlap. Who's the closest to the start finish straight? I think it's Derek Crowther or maybe David Smith. We'll pick up the insignia machine as it goes through turn number 11, which is a lovely little flick. Very cambered corners today. The good kind of camber, that sort of pulls you in. The off camber stuff's not too much fun. That's pretty much, I think, turn number 9 on this circuit, which is probably my worst corner in all of the iRacing service circuits. I think it's hell on earth. But we can see Derek Crowther now running down through what we call the chute, or sorry, the S's. This is up down here. I've seen some good old crashes here in my time. It's pretty much flat in a TCR, but you can get it wrong. When you get it wrong, you crash, and often cars behind you crash, and it all goes a bit downhill. And he's shooting up the straight now to they call it the inner loop, but it's the bus stop. It looks like a bus stop, drives like a bus stop. It's a bus stop. So you flick yourself in, flick yourself out. Should be able to fit 2 cars through there if you're lucky. And then you go straight into the carousel, which is a corner that never stops. And because this is the international layout, we are going down the chute to the boot formation. Another lovely cambered corner. They call that the laces, but it's it's the chute. It'll always be the chute. And so we go down towards the toe, turn number 7. Lovely little uphill corner. Then we come to the hill. Good fun in these cars because they're not the quickest around here, so you can use a couple of lines in and out of this corner. Quite nice passes. Lots of passing opportunities here. And now we come into the worst corner in iRacing.
I've got to agree with you on that there, Rob. I hate this corner myself.
Decreasing radius, late apex, you're always going to hit that. If you're rubbish like me, you hit that curb and it ruins it. And then the next one's brilliant. It's a bravery corner. Corner number 10, pull pelt, flick it in, lift and flick, touch that curb and exit. So we're going to see Derek Crowther set first lap of qualification today. And then all the times are going to come in with a flurry, I should imagine. We're expecting between 2 to 2:02. And Smith, actually, he's done the first one, a 2:02.14. You should be able to see that on screen. Have we got live timing up?
Yep, live timing is up. It's just having a bit of a hiccup at the moment, to be honest.
So Stevenson's at the top of the tower at the minute with a 2:00.85, the Ignium driver. That's a quick time. We've got a few Ignium guys here today. Mark Brown's up to 3rd. There's a Brown 3rd to 5th at the minute. 3 Browns today. Will this be one of those races where we don't see Dan Mould take a quali? Well, he's out on track at the moment.
Yeah, he's about halfway around the track. So yeah, I don't think he's going to do his last place to first place run again. Unless he's got the sandbags in the back of the car.
So let's focus on the leader currently, which I believe is Neil Stevenson on circuit. We've got a special announcement for Mr. Stevenson. Mr. Stevenson won last year's Tanso Championship, and as a prize for this, he got a nice little T-shirt. And Mr. Jackson's going to put that picture on screen for you now.
Yep, the picture's on screen. So as we're watching Neil here drive around the circuit, you can also see him modelling his T-shirt for winning last year's season.
And I think that T-shirt's made by one of our sponsors.
That's right. I think it's Tribal Branding. Do all the clothing for Tanso.
There you go. Look at that. Looks very proud. Looks very well done, Neil. Congratulations. As a reward, you're top of the tree at the moment after 1.81 laps. And he's also second currently in the standings this season behind Craig Waters. 186 points, Craig. 180, Neil Stevenson. Dan Mould, 158. Tied with Derek Crowther, who we can see second on circuit. And 5th position, John Brown. Most wins, that goes to Dan Mould. We've seen that. Most fastest laps, tied actually between Mr. Stevenson and Mr. Mould. And Ben Denya's just popped up to second. John Brown just popped up to second. This is a very familiar circuit to a lot of these TCR drivers. They race it. It's one of the most raced circuits in all of iRacing, I should imagine. But it is very popular in the TCR, especially with the bus stop configuration.
I was about to say as well, it's quite... No circuit's easy, but it is one of the easier circuits. As if we bring up the track map now, you can see that there's not very there's not very many corners. There's only 11 corners, and they're all quite, straightforward, really, aren't they?
From 9. So who's had a bit of drama in quali so far? Nick Kent's not turned a lap yet. Is he on circuit? He might have just got some off tracks.
Yeah, he's on circuit. He's just coming round. I was trying to work that out now, actually. I think he's just coming along the boot straight now towards the heel. So coming up to turn 8 now.
So Nick Kent, new to the championship. Welcome, Neil. Nick, sorry. job number one, get the name right when you welcome them to the championship. And Nick's been around a bit, and we've seen him elsewhere, but this is his first turnout and in Tanso race group. So we should be able to see, hopefully we'll be able to see some brilliant, excellent, nice and clean fighting from Nick. As you can see, he's just come around the last couple of corners. Neil Stevenson is still purple.
He is, but looking at the timing screen at the bottom, Dan set 2 purple sectors early on, and he's just on a green sector, so he's coming up to the end of his lap now, so we'll jump on board to him. And there you go straight to the top of the timing screen.
By 0.5, by half a second. Dan Moore goes to the top of the timing tree. 2 laps, so he'll be on his last lap now. We'll look for purples. Looks like Clibbins has shot up to second position with a 2:00.5. It's quite close. So that's his last lap, I think, and that's a fantastic effort for him. I think Stevenson's done. I think he's in the pits. All his 3 laps are done. Same with Denyer. Same with Brown. John Brown, Alan Brown's done as well. The only person we're really waiting for is Craig Walters to come set his final lap, and he's down in 10th at the moment. But if there's anyone that knows how to pass people around here, Craig.
So let's see where he goes now. He jumps up to 4th position.
Fantastic effort for Craig. We're going to have some fun at the front. So I think we're not going to see Nick complete. We might see Nick complete his 2nd lap. We're not going to see him complete his 3rd lap. We will see David Smith complete his 3rd lap as he comes around the last couple of corners now. Seen an improvement in sector 2.
Just looking at them times there, Rob, between Craig Walters and Ben, it was pretty much bang on, like for like. It's 2 1,000ths of a second that split them.
Wow, if you're going to go close, then you may as well go as close as possible. They'll be, they won't be alongside each other on the grid. They'll be line astern. 8th position for David Smith as he completes. And if we go to Nick Kent now,
yep, he's got 10 seconds left in the session,
and he's setting greens. So let's see the improvement from Nick Kent.
He just missed that.
Oh dear!
So close to the end. So
some quali sessions don't let you complete the lap. This is one of them. So that's a big shame for Nick. He'll be starting all the way from 13th position. My esteemed colleague Rob Jackson will take you through the grid now.
So yeah, we've got Dan Mould on pole position with a 2 minutes 0.2 seconds, followed by Nick Clibbins in 2nd. Then Dan's Ignium teammate Neil is behind him in 3rd, followed by alongside Craig Walters. Ben, so it's Ignium 1, 2, well not 1, 2, 3 there, shut up. Ben in 5th position, followed by John Brown in 6th, Alan Brown in 7th, with David Smith in 8th, Andrew Lovesey in 9th, Derek Crowder in 10th, Mark Brown 11th, Fraser Garrity in 12th, and then we've got Nick Kent in 13th and JT Johnson in 14th position as well.
And we're just waiting for David Smith at the moment. He's the last driver to join the grid. There we go, the nice little yellow car. Back in 8th. Now we're going to see the light sequence go. And we'll be live into round number 4 of the Tanso Racing Group TCR Championship. There we go, a couple of cars changed. That's Mark Brown. That's a long way round. David Smith.
I wonder if David had a bit of a wheel spin there on the start.
It looks like it. If we can go long shot, we can see turn number 1. They're going to get clean through. Looks like a line of stern starts, and they're side by side going up the S's. This could go wrong. See Ignium on the inside, SRL on the outside. Now it's SRL on the inside, Ignium on the outside, and the Tango machine of John Brown just tucking in behind. Looks like Mark Brown's trying to make moves forward, and we can see Clibbins just dragging up the other order. So now we go into the bus stop for the first time. And we can see one cut there from one of the Ignium guys. We can see a green SRL machine. I believe that's Al Brown. He's wide, facing the wrong way. It looks like he either got a little contact or he made a little flick. And there's someone else off in the background. That's Nick Kent, the Ginster's machine. They go down into the S's now. There's a bit of rotation there from Mark Brown. He's taken the old Cammy's the only red car in the grid tonight, isn't he? Oh, one of the Ignum cars behind into the wall. I believe that's Neil Stevenson.
That was Neil,
Is he going to send it? Is he going to send it into the toe?
Neil's not had the best of starts. He's lost 4 positions in the first half of the lap. Whereas Mark in front of him has actually gained 6 positions. So he's had a rocket of a start there, Mark.
And let's see how Stevenson handles this now. Is he just has a little bit of a send into John Brown. He just tucks it out, hits curb, bounces out. And good profit for Mark Brown. He's come through the pack a little bit. All through turn number 9. No one's in the wall there. That can happen. Been there, done that. And over the line, we've missed a change for the start. We've missed a change for the lead. Nick Clibbins, Dan Mould just had a little change. So new leader, Nick Clibbins. He had a jump start. Let's go back to the pack as they go over the line for the first. That's difficult for Nick because I think he had a jump start at the start, just spun the wheels up and then stopped and then started again. And I think that's affected him.
Dan will certainly be happy about that, won't he? He lost the position, but then with Nick going into the pits, it's freed it all up again for him and gives him a chance to break the toe from Craig behind.
Well, maybe he knew. Yep, maybe he knew, and maybe that's why he let him past. As they're flying down for number 2, we can see a battle for second position between Walters and Denyer now. Walters covers the inside, as does Brown behind on the Brown on Brown action. And they go into the bus stop again. No mistakes, keep it nice and tidy. They go in, they go out, no drama. And he'll be a hard car to pass, Mr. Walters, as they go down the chute now. Not a lot of drama behind. Nick Clibbins is out of the pits, just about 3 or 4 seconds off Alan Brown. I can see there's a Brown on Brown action. That's happened. That's going to continue to happen. They're still side by side. It looks like the advantage to Mark Brown at the moment. John Brown on the outside and Stevenson still the bridesmaid, still stuck behind them.
It looks like he's got a good drive there. He's got the inside coming up to the heel.
I think he was just scared off by John Brown a little bit now. Gooston covers the inside, and there is a very good line. Oh, no, he keeps swerving. These cars don't do well if you swerve under the brakes. And they're just going to back up. And now the Insignia machine and Derek Crowther's into this. And just up the inside, a send, hard send. Oh, that's not a good send from Andrew Lovesey. I think he took most of the Insignia paintwork with him. And hopefully that's not damaged Derek's car too much. But Andrew Lovesey now up 2 positions, 7th position. Biggest gain at the moment, Mark Brown. +7 to the 4th. That's fantastic. And he's driven pretty much from the back of that other group to the front. And now he's got Ben Denyer just a few seconds ahead of him.
But if you look behind, Neil's got past John Brown, and John, he's still tucked up behind him there, so if he stays behind him come out of turn 1, he'll get a good run up through the S's towards the bus stop. And
Crowder's back past Lovesey, and looks like he's got that closed off as well, and Smith behind, and Garrity as well, the other Insignia machine. And this will get a bit spicy as they go side by side up the S's. This is a low percentage sort of move, and looks like Garrity's just had a little bit of a wobble out. Is he going to keep it out of the wall? Yes, he is. And he tucks in behind David Smith. And if we look forward now to Lovesey and Crowther, we might see a bit of action in the bus stop.
Side by side's not always the best through there, is it?
Nope. But you can make it, and Lovesey's done that without significant contact. You can do a little bit of hip check as change of direction and send someone right off into the wall. It looks like that hasn't happened. Crowther shows the outside and shows the inside. Will he try it again? Looks like Lovesey has gone wide on the grass. That's not good. Keep your throttle on, Andrew. Looks like he hasn't impacted Garrity behind. And that's going to be an interesting one as they come into the toe and up the hill. So it's all change. All change. Where else? I think we're going to see Lovesey put a lot of pressure on Garrity now for the remainder of this lap. Just trying to keep an eye out ahead, see what's going on. Nick Clibbins come back. Looks like he's pretty stationary at the back still. And Lovesey looks on the outside, might switch back, looking on the inside, depending on what his exit's like. We can see David Smith just having a little look at Derek Crowther there. They've kind of broken away while they've been fighting. But that little 4-car train should give us a bit of fun for the remainder of the race. Oh, big off from Lovesy. What on earth happened there? He's got a puncher on the left-hand side. He's going to go into the pits. Bit of housekeeping. Unlimited fast repairs.
Well, unfortunately, that going into the pits, that's pretty much his race one done, really, isn't it? It's because once you lose the draft on here, you're just like a sitting duck almost.
He's still got Clibbins to come back into. If we can see Smith actually just looking up the inside of Crowther, looks like he's trying to get a move prepared for the bus stop. We're going to take a little look back at Andrew Lovesy at some point, see what actually happened there, because I missed that. I don't know if he ran wide out of 10 and hit the grass and that turned him, or if he had a hardware failure or something.
We'll just watch David Smith here coming up behind Derek in the bus stop, and then
I think they all left each other a bit too much room there, but they've come out a little bit more gapped out.
yeah. So we'll just drop back now then, like you say, to see what happened to Andy Lovesy.
Yeah, he just hit the grass. Just hit the grass. That put him into the soft rubber, and then that put him into the harder Armco. And he's a bit of a crab walking back to the pits there. But he got it in nice. Hey, if you're going to have an accident, have it a corner before the pits. That's what I say.
Yeah, he couldn't have timed it any better, really, there, could he?
No. So, let's go back towards the front. Mark Brown, I think this is probably his best drive to date, to be honest with you. He's up into 4th position. He's lapping faster than Ben Denyer ahead. So, this is a good turnout for the Red Beastie of Mr. Brown, the Brown Motorsport.
Yeah, you're right there. He was 2/10 quicker than Ben on his last. Sorry, that was his best lap. But no, yeah, they both set the best laps the last lap, and like I said, Mark was 2/10 quicker than Ben, so he is slowly eating away at that 2-second gap in front.
Just looking back, I think Alan Brown's catching JT Johnson for 10th position. JT's up +4.
That's
And yes, this is the recovering Brown. He was facing the wrong way at the bus stop on lap number 1. He just comes out the last corner, and it just gets on the outside and JT Johnson, and that is Clibbins behind as well. So there is a little bit of a secondary race going on for the guys that have either been in the pits or been facing the wrong way at some point. And that's Alan Brown moved done up into 10th position.
Again, it currently closest on the track at the moment is Neil and Mark. They're almost side by side going into the bus stop.
So this is 6th position in the championship versus 2nd position in the championship. Long from Mark Brown. Well saved. He might have a slowdown for that. So just take the outside of the carousel, wait for that to happen. Probably tuck in behind John Brown. And that's a bit of progress undone. But he's still the biggest gainer so far with +5 positions. And, lucky he gets to do it again.
It's I think again he got to slow down at the right time, at the right place there, didn't he? Because he managed to keep close to them and tuck in behind them and still carry on with their draft.
Yeah, now he's in it now, and Stevenson's showing defensive coming up into the toe, and I don't think Brown's anywhere close enough to take advantage of that. So, bit of a light flash from Mark Brown. Oh yes, I like this. The head games are halfway through heat number 1, and the head games have begun. And there's a double Brown pressure now on Neil Stevenson. I don't think I can run out of these sort of Brown jokes.
Yeah, never like a lot of Brown pressure.
No, never like. Well, Stevenson's keeping them backed up. So they come through T number 10 and into T number 11. This is the end of his 5th lap. I think, if my maths is correct, we might see a 10-lap race for these heats. 2 minutes times 2, maybe. Yeah, this will be all right. 10 laps, I think we're going to. And this is lap number 6 of that.
But if we just drop back to the battle for 8th and 9th position, do the next closest on track. You've got Fraser is right behind David. So I thought it was going to be a little bit closer, to be honest there. But again, he's got a nice run behind him up the S's towards the bus stop. Let's see if he's going to be brave on the brakes and try and go for it.
I think we're looking about 1.2, 1.4, aren't we, really? Bit far back at the moment. It's nothing like being tucked in behind someone going in and out of this bus stop and unsettling them just because you're filling their mirrors. And it looks like Fraser might be trying to do that as he takes a wider line in through the carousel. There's an apex there somewhere, lads. So go down the chute. And I think Fraser wants this. I think that's the Insignia car that hasn't been driven up the inside by Andrew Lovesley, which was what we saw happen to Derek Crowther earlier. He's in a bit of no man's land at the moment. I think he's not quite catching Mark Brown. Oh, he is a bit. Actually, almost a second faster that last lap, actually. Mark Brown put quite a slow 2:02.6 in.
And that was actually his fastest lap as well. Mark's fastest lap. Yeah.
I saw his best one as a 2:01.1.
Sorry, yeah. He's just was seeing it as green, so ignore it.
Okay.
I cannot read timing towers.
No, I understand. We're getting old. It's what happens. We can see Brown still firmly on the back of Neil Stevenson now, with Mark Brown behind him. So we've got two battles at the moment. There's not quite a battle between second and third yet, but we've got the Stevenson-Brown fight, and we've got the Smith-Garrity fight.
I don't know. There's only 0.2 seconds, 0.2 or 0.3 of a second behind Ben and Craig, so Craig's definitely going to be looking in his mirrors.
I really can't read that timing tower either. And Neil Stevenson goes very wide at the 90 degree, and that might put a little bit of pressure on behind as well. Just can't quite get close enough at the moment. We go forward to, yes, here we go. This is it. This is on. What's Denny going to do now? Maximum defensive by Walters as he goes to the inside. You can see the seam on the middle of the circuit. They take side of that each, just squeeze them back out, and Walters is in the head. Nope, they are side by side. Walters gives it a bit of a tap by Denny to Walters. Denny comes out ahead. No flash of the lights from Craig. And now Ben has the opportunity to pull away from Craig. And if there's one thing that you need to do when you're in front of Craig is pull away. Because he can fight, that boy. And we can see behind as well. Looks like John Brown's staying with Neil Stevenson, but it looks like Mark's just dropping off a little bit. There's a bit of tyre wear in there. And now we'll see if Stevenson can close the gap now between Craig Walters. And they are first and second in the championship, so that'd be nice. A little bit of a flashy. We can see Walters is tied up behind Ben Denyer now. Looks like this isn't over just yet.
No, coming up to we're about 2/3 of the way through, so they've probably got about 3 laps left.
That's three bus stops. That's what they'll be thinking. 3 bus stops.
That's the one. That's the main place, really, isn't it, on this circuit?
That is. Tuck in behind them through the 90 degrees. Come out of this one all right. So Mould out in the mouldy wonderland, out ahead. 2:01.1 last lap from him, and it's a comfortable gap behind. He's already won 3 races in this championship, so this potentially could be his 4th. He's had 4 podiums, and just want to check behind. Smith and Garrity looks like it's back on. It has that. They've just changed. Very wide there from Smith. Be careful rejoining that.
Gone deep on the brakes there.
Yeah. If you miss that, if you miss the camber, it can go a bit south quite quick on that turn 1. Just a little bit of a flick from Fraser there as he just slides out very near that Armco. And David, is he going to get a bit of a... Well, he goes defensive. So Fraser knows he's there. And Smith just gets the tightest line, and he's held there by Fraser. Side by side they go, better contact. Well, there's one in the wall. Fraser's in the wall, so Fraser's done. And Smith is in the gravel. And I probably could get a replay of that, because that was a bit unfortunate.
Yep, we'll go back now to where are we now? Oh,
so we can see there, that's David Smith going long. Just putting in behind Fraser now. Looks like Fraser has gone very far down. I think that's probably called himself a day, because he has got quite a lot of damage on the front of that car. Yeah, this is how it's caused. So I think they make contact just at the second bit of the there we go, just a bit. Yeah, David just pushed out wide into him, and I think that just did enough to send send Fraser's trajectory into the wall. Significant damage for him. David survives, and he's still in 10th position. If we can go back to live, I think if we go back to the battle for second, third position, I think that might still be on.
Yep, that is still on. Just under half a second now behind them.
And it's just sort of spread out a little bit.
Yeah, see, Neil and John, they've now made a little gap between them. So Neil's managed to break the toe from John.
Very hard to do around this circuit. And they've kind of, and Mark Brown as well, he's just dropped off a little bit as well. So, kind of, spreading out a little bit. Brown and Clibbins, what's their lap time like? Well, Clibbins is about a second a bit faster than Brown in 8th position. Ooh, completely missed that. So Craig is right up behind now. That's a bit of a cut there through that chicane, so hopefully he hasn't got a slowdown. Craig Waters in 3rd position. This will be good points for him. Obviously good points for Stevenson as well. Where's Ben Denyer in the championship? He's in 7th position with 2 podiums to his name so far.
Yeah, I don't think Ben made the first round, or he might have made the first round but missed the second round. I know he has missed 1 round, so that's 2 races worth of points that he is down, at least.
So hopefully a strong second half of the season from Ben Denyer in the Igni Motorsport machine, but you see in Sutherland.
If we just go back now as well to the battle between 8th and 9th, Nick's actually caught up to Alan, so there's potential there. He can put a little bit of pressure on him. Alan will see that Nick's getting bigger in his mirrors.
Well, sometimes when you have a bad race, it's always nice to at least pass someone. We saw Nick pass Dan Mould at the start of the race, but obviously that was under black flag conditions, so didn't really count. But we can see him right up behind Alan Brown now in the green SRL machine. And that's easily got to be the closest battle on the track at the moment. Bit wide there for Nick. Al knows he's there, goes defensive, but only as defensive as he needs to. Rejoins racing line for turn number 1. And I think if we go back to Dan Mould, we might be on the last lap. You can just see Craig in the background. Right, so we're going to keep an eye on Mould at the moment. The gap behind looks okay. Actually, it looks like Clibbins is up with Smith. It looks like it looks like the Clibbins and Brown move's been done in the hairpin. There we go. Nick's got the outside and then the inside and then the inside again. He's clear now, Val. That's on the last lap. Let's go back to the start. Let's see Dan Mould.
So he's
dominant.
A nice 6-second gap over Ben. So it's been a nice Sunday drive for Dan.
Yeah, that's per normal. That's per normal. Nice and managed. As he rolls into T8, which is the hill, and up to T9, which is hell.
I think we should start a petition to rename that corner.
No, I don't like people driving through there, not hitting the curb and bouncing out. It just doesn't feel natural. So penultimate corner, maybe. We've not been told it's a white flag, but timing indicates maybe it is. And we can see the checkered flag is out. Race number 1, the heat. Win goes to Dan Mould. He'll be starting 12th position in the feature race. And if we look behind, flash the lights from Craig. He knows he's had a good race. Neil Stevenson knows he's had a good race in 4th position as well. But 2nd position, another podium goes to Ben Denyer. And the 2 Browns follow up. Fantastic race from John. And the highest climber award goes to Mark Brown. 6th position. And we can see all sorts of Audi machinery. There we go. 3 wheels on the wagon. And we can go further back. Derek Crowther finishing 7th. Nick Clibbins there. Why are they all obsessed with crashing?
I think it's a little ritual, isn't it?
It is a bit nuts. And we can see JT Johnson now. He's +3, 11th position as he just rolls around the last corner. That's a good result from him. Everyone's still running. Lovesey, Garrity, and Kent. There are the remaining positions. And we can see Lovesey, who had he went off in that corner actually into that wall. He's took a faster pair and he was still able to finish the race. 12th position. Points been prizes. Is this the first time we've seen Andrew Lovesey out in Tanso?
It is, yes.
That's
I think.
his debut
no,
race?
sorry. No, I think he has been in it before.
Okay. Well, he finished in 12th position.
Yeah,
Just waiting for a couple more guys to finish now.
It gives him pole position for the second race as well, that then, doesn't it?
Oh! Race number 2 is escalated. If Andrew Lovesey is on pole position, race number 2 is peak. Is absolutely peak. That's going to be a must-watch. And Fraser Garrity, he'll be in 13th for the last one. It'll be Lovesey and JT Johnson alongside, I think, for front row lockout. Race number 2. And we can see Nick Kent bring up the rear now. And that's definitely his debut race in the championship. So congratulations to all finishers. Rob Jackson, my colleague, is going to take you through a final rundown of race 1 results.
As soon as the official results come up on screen, I can do.
Do I need to do like the 5 live music?
Yeah. There we go. We've got them up there now. So, yeah, in first position, we have Dan Mould. And then behind him is teammate Ben Denyer, followed by Craig Walters and Neil Stevenson in 4th. John Brown in 5th, followed by Mark Brown in 6th. Derek Crowder in 7th, and Nick Clibbins in 8th. Alan Brown 9th. David Smith in 10th, and JT Johnson in 11th. Andrew Lovesey in 12th. Fraser Garrity in 13th, and Nick Kent rounding out all drivers in 14th position.
Fantastic. Right. I'll put it in nice and early. Driver of that race for me was early doors. It was definitely Mark Brown.
Yeah, I agree. It's gained quite a good few positions there, and yeah, just showed that he can drive the car around and bring it home.
Excellent. So we're going to see a reverse grid now in about 5 minutes, or in about 3.5 minutes maybe. We're going to go on a little bit of a break. We're going to put that awesome little synth music back on, and then we'll come back live just before the start, and we'll take you through race number 2. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Watkins, Glen. We're watching just the final bit of the warm-up before we grid up for heat number 2, feature race of Tanso Racing Group. Round number 4 at Watkins Glen International. We saw some fantastic racing in the first heat, and some guys will be looking to have a better race second time round. And we'll certainly the likes of Lovesy, the likes of Clibbins, who we see on screen, will be looking to right the wrongs of their first races, where we saw Clibbins do a little bit of a jump start that cost him pretty much his race, and we saw Andrew Lovesy just pile in the wall after hitting the grass in turn number 9. And we'll just be looking to grid up now, I think.
Yep, the cars are starting taking the grid now.
So there is a countdown timer. How many laps did we have in the last one? I worked this out with my fantastic mathematical skills, didn't I?
Yep, it was 10 laps.
10 laps. And we got it on the nose as well. So,
Aye.
right, we're all on the grid. We got a nice little long shot so we can see all the cars. Then it's reverse grid, people.
Oh.
That's a very long shot. So we can see they pull away now. We see Lovesy and JT Johnson on the start of the grid as they come down to the first little corner there. And we can see Lovesy just got on the inside. Clibbins looks like he's in comfortable third position as well, with Mark Brown right up behind him. Looks like Al just gets a little bit of a tail out, wobble wide, and he'll be rejoined. And hopefully they'll give him room to rejoin. They have. He survives. And the one to watch, Dan Mould in 12th position. Just probably be taking his time on the first lap as they come through the S's now up the hill. And they'll be lining up for the first run through the bus stop. And a reverse grid and the bus stop makes for good excitement, as we can see the Insignia cars snaking around there behind the Ignium cars. And here they go right through. JT Johnson in second position, followed by Mark Brown. He's in third. Fourth is Clibbins. David Smith in the yellow machine. Tango machine behind is John Brown. He's getting a little bit of a nudge from Stevenson, a little bit of nudge wide in the carousel. Stevenson will just be looking to take advantage of that. It's JT Johnson. Looks like he's just getting passed by Mark Brown now, and Clibbins getting double teamed. And that's the position for second and third has changed. So a little bit wide there from Mr. Clibbins, actually, and from Mr. Brown, and a few others as well. I think Stevenson's that just tapped the wall. This is a circuit, don't want aero damage. We can see one of the Insignia cars looking up the inside now. That looks like Derek Crowther. Looks like it's just a little bit of a love tap, and Denyer falls down. Or no, he doesn't fall down. He goes up. It's the side by side going up the hill now towards the hill. And we are Noah's Ark and all the way. And right at the front is David Smith, just inside of JT Thompson there. He'll take position number 4. And this is a good. This is a nice little frantic start, which is what we expect from a reverse grid. And Mould still just taking his time in 11th, not going too hard, too aggressive through the pack. I can see. Oh, well, I was saying that I can hear contact, and that looks like an Ignium machine that's sliding sideways, and that is 3 wide. Looks like going into turn number 11 at the back. I'm keeping you busy today, Mr. Jackson.
You certainly are.
Mould just trying to see the wood through the trees. Oh, sorry, that's Stevenson wood through the trees. He has dropped a couple of positions. Al Brown's the biggest faller we saw from that T1. He's down 6 at the moment.
Yeah, and
a little bit of a send. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. So you can see Stevenson very wide now. Al Brown, they're just going to fan across each other. 3 wide now into the S's. Touch on the Insignia machine, and looks like heavy damage at the back from Stevenson there. I'm surprised he's got lights to flash, to be honest. And the 2 Insignia boys are going side by side. Stevenson's in the wall. I dare say he probably caused that. Just a bit of a swing wide, and Nick Kent doesn't know where to hide at the minute.
Well, out of all that little incidents there, Dan Mould was the biggest gainer. He managed to gain 3 positions, sorry.
And another, because I think that's just in done. I think that's in done Al Brown. And
Yeah,
I see more contact. I think that was a bit of a spin at the back. Looks like JT Johnson's had a little bit of a turn from one of the Insignia boys.
He managed to
Also
keep hold of it though.
So I think we go to the front, because I think Clibbins and Brown is on. As they are, I think they're racking up the incident points. You've only got 16 to play with, guys. So this is the battle for second position. Smith is in the hunt, but ahead is Clibbins in the Simtech machine, and then further ahead, Mark Brown. Brown goes very strong here, looks like. I think side by side. I think Al Brown's side by side with someone at the back. He's having a good old time retrieving what he lost earlier. I think that's Dan Mould though, isn't it? So
it is Dan. Yeah, he's trying to get his position back from Dan. But I think Dan, you can just see there, he's starting to slowly pull away.
Al hit the curb. Normality is resumed. Watkins Glen International. He just touched the curb on turn number 9. And if we go back to the start, big into the wall there from Mark Brown. That might have done his suspension. It's certainly, well, he's got no wing mirror anymore, and he's not got a lot of front bumper on that side as well. That's going to significantly impact.
Yeah, he'll get past like a sitting duck on the straight now, won't he? He'll have quite a bit of reduced top speed.
So, a second position now is potentially turned into a defensive race for Mark Brown. You can see that side of that little red car is absolutely scrubbed. He's got a little gap between Nick Smith and her. Nick Smith might fight quite hard to keep Nick Clibbens behind him, and that might help Mark Brown out. So, the quietest man, and I didn't expect this to be honest, is Andrew Lovesey, who's clear at the front by a good couple of seconds.
Yep, he's made use of all the argy-bargy behind him, and he's got his head down, got his rhythm, and just started driving off into the sunset.
And that can be a blessing in a reverse grid. That's kind of how you do it, really. I think if we look in towards David Smith, something's happened. I think he's passed Nick Clibbens now, so there's been a bit of a argy-bargy. And this is John Brown taking his time. Also, Craig Waters, +4. We haven't seen Craig and Ben come through the pack, but they have, and they're up +4 each.
Also, Dan, who's now behind Ben, he's up 4 positions as well.
Right, so here we go. Now the race is on, and we can see Waters just covers himself from Ben Denyer, and Ben Denyer has done this before. He has managed to get past Craig and break him in a little bit, but now he's got Dan Mould behind him, and these guys are teammates. They may be working together. We can see John Brown just has a little look inside maybe on Nick Clibbens ahead. It's a bit of a 3-car train forming behind David Smith. A bit of a flash of the light from Craig Waters. Well, that's going to tell us that something good's going to happen in a couple of laps. And yeah, this is, I think, going to be quite a compression in about a lap or so.
Just looking at the back of Ben's car there, he looks like he's had a shunt from the rear because he's got quite a bit of damage on the boot lid.
And that won't make a that won't be fun for him in the straight as well. But if he's right up behind someone, he might be all right. Yeah, that is a bit of a. I mean, you can't really tell with that paint job, but I'm not sure it is. So let's see if Waters is just setting John Brown up now for a run. We can see the Ignian boys side by side. That could have gone wrong.
We've also got David Smith, who's right up behind Mark Brown as well.
And we can see that on screen at the moment. Obviously, David had a bit of an incident in the first race that ended Fraser Garrity's race. So he might need to rethink how he is through the bus stop when he's next to people. But down the chute they go. Clibbens is still looking lively. Any of these guys could set any of these other guys up whenever they want, I feel. They just need to get a good run in and out of a corner and they'll be on it. Especially behind Mark Brown, who's got a decidedly second-hand looking car. As we see Clibbens just got the inside of toe now. He might get that done. Certainly he's not going to get the drive off than Nick Clibbens is. David Smith, and David Smith is going to drop now. Covers off from John Brown.
I think that was quite a smart move there, because if he stayed over to the left, then John could have come up down the inside as well for the next corner at the heel.
Now look at Smith. That's a nice little just deny the apex from Nick Clibbens there. It's all getting nice and racy here. So as soon as John goes from looking upside Nick Clibbens, now he has to look in his mirrors at John Brown, and John Brown in turn has to look in his mirrors to Craig Waters, and Craig Waters has got Ben Denyer behind him, and Dan Mould doesn't even have to look past Ben Denyer because he can see all the way through his boot at the moment. It's got quite a sizable hole in it. This is the end of lap number 4. Into lap number 5. Andrew Lovesey checks out by another second into the lead as all hell breaks loose behind him, and Dan Mould is now up the inside of Ben Denyer, but he can't get away because there's 2 other cars, so he's going to go 3 wide. Why not? With John Brown and Craig Waters. right up through the tightest bit of the circuit.
And that opens the... from that angle, didn't look like Ben was going to be able to come back through.
I think Mould just had a check out of that, isn't he? Thought
Yeah.
better of it. And Clibbins is absolutely... I think they're bump drafting themselves past Mark Brown. He's the cork in the bottle at the moment. So they're going through the hairpin. Bit of a slide there from Smith, and that won't help his cause. And Mark Brown just taking the outside now of the carousel. This is a busy old race. The reverse grids always are.
And what makes it a lot better though is when you've got reverse grids where drivers know each other well and they race each other week in, week out. They know who to trust, how far to push each other. You know, I've had plenty of races where you've got some people who get the reverse grid and they just think that they can barge through, and it's just no fun at all.
Aye, and there's not a lot of freight training going on here, which is a good thing. Freight training is when you make a mistake, come offline, and this car can pass you line astern, and that can bit of a pressure. If something goes wrong, going to go wrong there. And looking on the inside now is Mould. There's a bit of contact behind in front with Brown, and that's a very wide Mark Brown. Gets a little bit more damage. Now we're fanning out into turn number 9. Bit of contact. Well, there's a wheel missing from David Smith, and that looks like that's his race done. John Brown just been spun wide in corner number 9. There's a tyre flying across the wall, and hopefully Dave Smith keeps out the way of everyone. But Mark Brown keeps that position, third position currently, in Craig, who might have instigated that. I think I saw him at the back of that pack. He's in 4th now. And Dan Mould has just found himself in the 5th position, up +7, as you do. It looks like also, as John Brown's fallen back, Al Brown's suddenly in a fight. As we go 3 wide into turn number 1. Mould thinks a bit of a wise, she's back out of it, but then Mark Brown just falls. That was quite good for Mark to keep out the bumper of Mould, and now Mould's going to bump draft Walters up the hill, up the S's. If we go on board now with Mark Brown, so we can see at the start of that, Mark is in the tow. He's just still pulling in. That's how big. I mean, how much damage Mark's got, and he can still be pulled along by these guys. The Mould goes on the inside.
And that was quite a nice pass there by Dan. He timed it to perfection.
And a bit naughty from Mark. Bit of a nudge. My heart was in my mouth going through that chicane. We can see what the damage. Walters has tucked himself back down to 7th position now behind Alan Brown, but in front of John Brown. So he won't be happy with that. The Insignia car of Fraser Garrity just comes around the inside of John Brown as well. John might give him a bit of a push up to the toe. There's fights everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Every corner.
This is what we like to see though, isn't it, in the TCR class?
Yep, the German scrabble wagons as they come up the hill. And we can see it, how Brown just trying to go wide alongside Ben Denyer now. He's got heavy boot damage from earlier. That looks like that might be a bit of a dicey one into turn number 8. Will he get it done? Middle of the corner, he's looking all right. But that sets up turn number 9 for Ben. So Ben has track position at the moment. Flash of the lights from Craig. He wants back past. I should think Craig wants to catch up Mark pretty quick. Just a bit wide. Who's that yellow car? That's Ben Denyer, isn't it? That slid wide there, I think, wasn't it?
No, the yellow one at the back is Neil Stevenson.
Ah, yes. Well, Neil's had a bit of a recovery race. We saw him get beaten up a bit at the start, and he's just sort of kept himself in it, kept himself at the back of them. But we want to go further to the front, because further to the front is where all the fighting is in the moment. And we can see the car in front of Al Brown, Ben Denyer. I think these two are the walking wounded at the moment. You can see Craig just wanting to set them up. Nice little bit of a corner there. Dip down into the best part of that apex, best part of that corner. And he's just going to get a bit of a run on Al Brown now. Al might be thinking, you know what, I'm going to let him pass just to save me the hassle. Nope. Goes alongside, what do I know? Rob Jackson, where are 7 laps gone?
They have flown by this race, haven't they? It definitely has been an exciting one.
Very exciting. In goes Craig Walters. They just about sort each other out. Al Brown has a bit of a wobble mid-corner, and that exit of the bus stop is going to give Craig a bit of an opportunity. Nope. Just went a little bit wide there. And John Brown's had a bit of a... He's just shuffled himself back down a little bit. He's now -2 position, 10th position, just behind Derek Crowther. The man in the Tango machine. In the Insignia. No, it's not an Insignia sandwich, is it? Because that's an Ignium car of Neil Stevenson behind. With 1 wing mirror. Not that there's anyone behind him at the moment you can see, because it looks like Nick Kent's He's still back down the road in 12th position. And we're watching Craig Walters and now Brown are side by side again. Looks like the Insignia boys are side by side as well at the background. And John Brown's working out which one he has to sit behind for turn number 9. He's going to choose Fraser.
Yep, so he's now in an Insignia sandwich.
And I think, bit of a shunt out into Derek. Did I see Derek fall? Did Fraser and Derek swap positions? I think they must have.
Yes, they have, yeah.
Do you know who we haven't talked about in about 7 laps? Andrew Lovesley, who's now 9 seconds ahead. And it looks like his first turn out this season, second race, might be a win. And I think the Brown and Crowther fight is on at the moment. In fact, numerous cars are side by side. We go up to the front. We got Mark Brown. I'm keeping you very busy today, Rob.
Yeah.
And these drivers are keeping me busy.
He's considering he is quite heavily damaged on the front left there. Mark's definitely holding his own and giving as good as he's getting here.
There is a fair amount of fending off from Mark Brown. As they go, perception's a bit wrong, but they could be 8 or 9 wide going into that. So, this isn't good. Al Brown's wide. He misses the chicane. Mark Brown misses the chicane. Craig Walters misses the chicane. And behind them, the car number 14 of Ben Denyer going, well, I'm +3 from that.
It's I've had that feeling many a time once you get on the grass and you put your foot on the brakes and you're coming towards a corner. You just can't do anything. You're just hoping that nobody drives away in front of you. And
I just seen Dan Mould go off track.
Yep, I just heard some crashing. I think Dan will go back and have a look at the replay of that.
So it looks like Dan was behind Clivens, wasn't it? He just missed the braking and took them both off. That's a bit cheeky. But they're both... Well, Clivens is out of the race already. He's retired. Dan Mould, we don't know if he's back on. But that's a bit of a shame. That might deny... I think I heard some more damage there. Right, what's happened when we've gone? We can see an Ignium car and an Insignia car taking chunks out of each other. That looks like that's Neil Stevenson, who's getting past Derek Crowther. There's been a big old change in the order. We've come back live, and everything could have happened. Absolutely everything. And what we can see is Derek Crowther wanting to, wanted to wheelbarrow Neil Stevenson over the start-finish. And it's only lap 8. We're expecting another couple of laps out of this.
We've just had Alan Brown's just jumped to the pits as well, so he's just had an off track as well somewhere.
And are we able to get that on replay?
Yep, let's go back to that.
Is that after? So we can see him. He's spun, so he might have had suspension damage. So there might have been a bit of a love tap from someone.
We'll come back live now because just can't quite find that one.
An identified culprit is damaged Alan Brown's car. And he's obviously now down into the pits. So there is some late race drama. Mark Brown at the moment, he's down into 4th position. Derek Crowther's in 5th. He's had a fantastic race. There's nothing like having a reverse grid and pretty much holding position. And that's pretty much what Derek Crowther has done. Craig Walters has found himself in 8th position. And Andrew Lovesley is off. Well, he's not off. He's on the track. But he's off up ahead. Miles ahead. Yeah, absolutely untroubled.
7.3 second gap. So I think Andrew is again another Ignium. So I can't even get my words out now. They're just showing the dominance. They get out in front and then just control the pace, control their own race, and just disappear off. And nice controlled race from them. I said race. I don't know how many times then. Too many.
As long as we're not drinking, every time you say it, we're fine. Looks like Dan Mould is in the pits, has retired. Called it a day. No points for him for this race. And if we just go ahead, we can see Denyer and Walters. I don't think they've been more than a second apart from each other all night, all evening. Last 2 races.
Especially this race, they're both +8 positions. So they've literally, where Craig's gone, Ben stayed tucked in behind him and followed him through.
And this will help Craig extend his lead, I should think, significantly at the championship because Neil Stevenson's all the way down in 7th position, and I think he's pitted.
He's
Neil
just
Stevenson,
gone. Yep.
Is he going to take a fast repair?
Yeah, well, we're on the final lap now, so unless he's got a drive-through penalty, picking up quite a few incidents.
Yes, we did see him trade paint with I think Derek Crowther quite a bit. So if we go to the front, and we can see Andrew Lovesey, and whereabouts on circuit is he? So he's coming up to the bus stop now, flashing his lights. Someone told him he's on camera.
But again, nice controlled race from him, this, isn't it? He's done very well.
Yes, it helps when absolute chaos is behind, and if he runs fighting tooth and nail. And he hasn't got the fastest lap though, is he? Best lap 201.5, 204, 201.1 from Derek Crowther. Neil Stevenson's a 201.1 as well, so he's not had it all his own way, but he also has. And as he rolls in through the toe now, turn number 7, off the boots. We'll just see if Neil Stevenson has left the pit lane again, so he's still going to circulate. I think he should still pick up points if he does that.
You're just going back to the fastest laps of the races. The person with the fastest lap is Dan Mould with a
Yes.
2 minutes .466.
That's a quick old lap. I see that rounded up to 0.47. We can see Andrew Lovesey coming through turn 9 now. Flicks it into 10. This is where he crashed in the first race. He hasn't done that in the second race. And into the penultimate corner. And out of the penultimate corner. Dominant race. Flag to flag goes Andrew Lovesey to the win. His first win in Tanso this season. And congratulations to him. See a little flash of the lights. Hugs the pit wall to talk to no one in particular because no one's there. And we can see second position goes to Craig Walters and his shadow Ben Denyer. They're happy. That's a reverse in the first race. And then Mark Brown holds on to a fantastic 4th position considering the damage he sustained. And Derek Crowther into 5th. And a murder behind from Fraser into 6th. John Brown finishes in 7th. Nick Kent. That's a fantastic climb up from Nick in the end. He had a bit of a tired first race. He's in 8th position.
6 positions gained for him there, so yep, he'll be happy with that one.
Yep. And it looks like JT Johnson's done. Finishes in 9th. And I think we've got some of the walking wounded coming through now. Nick Clevens, who we saw have an accident with Dan Mould, who hit him from behind down at the toe and took him off. He's recovered to finish 10th position. And just behind him is David Smith, actually. We saw have that accident and lose a wheel when it all kicked off in corner number 9 earlier. So there goes the Simtech machine out of the last corner and the yellow SRL machine out of the last corner. These are the 2 final runners. See one cross the line, second one cross the line. And everyone's home safe. Until they're not safe.
Oh, they love that, don't they, afterwards?
Why not? Why not? So, that's the end of round number 2. Drive of the day for me. For that has to go to Andrew Lovesey, flag to flag. No mistakes. And who's your driver of the day, Mr. Jackson?
I think for that one, to be fair for me, it'll be Mark Brown. Considering the damage he had on the front, he managed to stick with the pack and got past a couple of times, but managed to get some positions back and still finished the race with +3 positions from his starting point.
We have Dan Mould just popped up in the comments. Hardware failure. That's not nice. I've been there, done that at the end of Spa when you've lost your brake pedal. It's not fun. It's less fun when you take someone else out as well, which is a shame. But Dan's the kind of bloke that will hold his hands up to that, and he'll have a little word with Nick, I'm sure. Let's run through the final positions now. I'll let you do that, Rob.
Yep, so we've got the tables up, the final positions up now. We've got Andrew Lovesey, who finished in 1st position, Craig Walters in 2nd, followed by Ben Denyer in 3rd, Mark Brown 4th, Derek Crowther in 5th, and Fraser Garrity in 6th. John Brown in 7th, Nick Kent in 8th, JT Johnson in 9th, Nick Clibbins in 10th. Then you got David Smith was the last of the runners in 11th position. And then in 12th was Neil, 13th was Dan, and 14th was Alan Brown.
Excellent. So those are the results of round number 4, Watkins Glen International for Tanso TCR Season 2. The next round is on the 29th of October at Nürburgring GP, which is another circuit that's very good, very suited to TCRs. So we should see some good racing there, and we'll be hoping to bring you that on T8 TV. But from now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast and the racing. We certainly enjoyed the racing. It's goodbye from me and from my colleague, Mr. Jackson.
Goodbye.